Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad. My name is Austin.
And my name is Patrick.
And guys, welcome to our show.
Yeah, we got ABT and PAT. They talking about young Americans overseas. We got McKennie, Pulisic, Reyna, and Des. Got that red, white, and blue USA on the crest from England, Germany, from Belgium to Spain. Racking up all the medals on the trophy train. Got one thing on their mind, we're skill and some luck. One day we can say we will win the World Cup.
Welcome back, guys. We're happy to be back for another week of, our weekly report here. So a good week, I would say, overall, Pat. We had some, a trophy that a player won. We also had some goals scored. So a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we definitely do. And it's just a crazy time, right? With the Champions League starting up here. Like you said, a lot of the players just finding their grooves, right? Getting back into club form before a crucial March. It's kind of do or die coming up, and it's almost like you can see the storm out in the horizon, but we're almost there, Austin.
Yeah, don't say it because Pablo Maurer would get upset at you. Refrain from saying
right.
the popular catchphrase. Can't say that. But
Very
yeah,
true.
Honestly, I'm so excited to see Champions League back. We're filming today on a Tuesday, so we saw Paris Saint-Germain get that last minute goal. Earlier today.
Beautiful.
What a great goal, for them and Mbappe, and what a horrible kind of letdown for Real there right at the end of the game. But got another round tomorrow, Bayern versus Salzburg, which we'll talk a little bit about later on. So super pumped to see Brenden Aaronson take the field in that one. And like you said, Pat, we got a lot to talk about today. So do you want to lead us into our first player we're going to cover?
Yeah, let's do it. And I guess we're just familiar, right? He's a goal-scoring machine, and that's Pefok here.
That's right.
With young boys. So just to kind of highlight his exciting weekend time here, he scored a goal and recorded an assist in a 3-1 win over Basel. So now that's 7 goals in the last 4 games in the Swiss league. So he is on fire, tied with Cabral there finally for the golden boot in the league. So definitely going to surpass him. We knew that was coming, but it was definitely a tremendous weekend for him. And how can Greg ignore his goal scoring form? But yeah, just to kind of highlight his usual Pefok kind of stuff, right? In that game where young boys were really bombarding him, in terms of, getting him the ball, getting chances, a lot of chances created. Just floating things into the box, and obviously came through some chaotic crosses, and Pefok obviously has a knack for finding the ball there and just coolly slotted it home past the keeper, and there you have it. So again, just a player that's perfectly set up with this team. The way they play, the style, it's honestly a match made in heaven for him, especially after his past kind of highs and lows, right? With other leagues, he's really found a great home here.
Yeah, and it's all attributed to the connection he has with American manager David Wagner.
That's right.
No, you're not buying that. Okay. No, I think he's in a great spot there. Like you said, he's getting some good service, from his team, and honestly, that's the biggest thing for a striker, right? Getting that confidence, scoring goals consistently comes when you have confidence. So I feel like we see Pefok exuding that confidence right now. Obviously, we've talked about before, he doesn't necessarily embody, that, all around striker, skill set, right? He's not going to be the person really tracking back and really combining with midfielders. So, for him, it's all about scoring goals, right? And being that poacher in the box. And he's, delivering on that over the past few games, which is great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He's in amazing form. It's great to see. And unfortunately for the team, they are 10 points back from Zurich there for the league. So they won't win it, which is kind of disappointing for their standards. But they're in Europa League qualifying place. It was a big win over Basel. So that's obviously important too. So, with that, right, obviously discussion that we'll kind of have down the pipeline. I'm curious to see. It'll probably come up on social media and Twitter. But I'm thinking, and maybe to catch the eyes of Berhalter, or what else he has to do, right, or take his game to that next level. Does it make sense for him to stay? He's in a great environment, great team. potential for that Champions League or Europa League kind of qualification type of level. A decent league, if you're looking at the coefficients, it's not a cakewalk by any means for the top 3 or 4 teams, I would say, and a little bit top heavy, but he's delivering and very comfortable in that level. So I'm almost thinking, would it make sense maybe to look at an Eredivisie type of team? Maybe, I don't know if this is lateral, but a top 2 or 3 team in Belgium, like an Anderlecht, who's kind of needing that goal scorer, has history in terms of getting to that Champions League group stage level, things of that nature, or Bruges. But again, I want to get your take, Austin. Does that kind of make sense? Is that even a huge step up for him?
Yeah, it's funny. You posed this question to me off camera, and part of me just wants to see him stay at Young Boys. I think, what we do as a fan base is really try and project, our players up to these bigger teams. And sometimes I think there's merit to it, and I think it makes sense. But a lot of the time, players may do better just kind of staying put for a little bit longer. And I think that could be the case with Pefok here. I think going into the season, he wasn't the undisputed starter at striker. Obviously got off to a hot start right out of the gate and really took over, that striker position and claimed it as his own. Had a little bit of a downturn in form kind of mid-season or, end of the fall there. But now is back, in good form, scoring goals. And again, I think has proven to be a very key player in this team. And again, I just think getting more continuity as, a goal scorer, getting, more, I guess, just experience scoring goals, right? And more confidence, becoming more established as a recognized goal scorer. Maybe that's the best way to put it. I think could do him justice, especially in terms of getting a spot on the World Cup roster in the fall. Because again, the World Cup happens after the summer. So, we could see him make a move and, all that good form, falls away. And now he really has no shot at getting called up. And obviously you could say maybe he doesn't have a shot with Greg Berhalter as coach, but I really just think staying put, staying in a team, especially if David Wagner stays there for next season and implements the same system, I think just, getting some more time, playing well in the same place could do him justice.
Yeah. I think it's interesting just to quickly add the timing of the World Cup, right? Different. And like I said, all the points, it's a solid league team that's near the top there, probably will win the league next year, if they make their improvements. And obviously with that, the manager they have is tremendous. Europa League, all those factors. I don't know if it makes sense to move. And we've seen some cursed players, right? Kind of make these big moves and then disappear. And, if Pefok's already kind of on the fence here, not even getting called, and he goes somewhere else and doesn't play at all, that's it, from a national team perspective. So just something to keep your eye on here.
Yeah. And I think, we'll kind of see more about how some of these moves play out, right? We had Ricardo Pepi move to Augsburg. He's still figuring things out. Daryl Dike moved to West Brom, is now injured and still figuring things out. Yes, you could say Sargent's in that group as well. So, I think, actually, when you look at all those moves, maybe staying is the best move. But like you said, Pat, we'll wait and see. And wish Pefok all the best leading into March. We still have hope.
That's right.
He'll be on that roster. I don't know. We may be foolish in that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to us. We're there to support him. So we want to move on now to our second player for today, and that's Weston McKennie. So Weston played in 2 games this week, and the first was a Coppa Italia game against Sassuolo. So in this game, Weston played 90 minutes for Juve, and that was in their 2-1 win over Sassuolo. And Pat, he looked great in this game. I really was only able to see the highlights, so obviously I saw a lot of the good in this game. But from what I saw, he was really kind of the spark plug on the day. And if he wasn't, Juve's best player in the game, he was definitely one of them. So in the game, he had 3 key passes, 3 shots. His first shot basically led to Juve's first goal. It was ricocheted off, and Dybala basically finished the ricochet or finished the volley I'm looking for to score their first goal. So, kind of contributed to that goal there with that shot. The second shot he had was a phenomenal diving header about 6 feet out from the goalkeeper. Goalie made a great reaction save to stop him from scoring a goal. His third shot was this, again, a really awesome shot from him. It was basically a ball that was rolled to him in the box, set up perfectly on a platter to hit, and Weston fully hit it with this great curve, upper 90s, right corner of the goal, but hit off the crossbar instead of going in. So, it was just off by inches, but it was really great technique. And, on another day, it might have went in. And then the final, shot he had, I don't know if it really counted as a shot, but we're going to count it here. He basically got onto a cross into the box, kind of similar to the one he scored against Mexico in the Nations League final. Really just rose up over a defender, was able to head the ball down into the ground, and unfortunately the goalie was right there and stopped it. So could have had, maybe 1 or 2 goals on the day if things fell a little bit differently, but overall made a really big impact. You really just saw him again getting in dangerous positions, again contributing to that goal with the shot, and that's what we want to see from Weston, right? And this role he's had with Juve, it hasn't been a very defensive role. It's really been more of a attacking midfield role, right? Whether he's on the right, whether he's on the left, he kind of rotates through the middle at times. He's really been tasked with creating chances for Juventus, which we didn't really expect that going in. And I think, we didn't think that was really going to be his role. We didn't know if he could do that at a high level, but I think over this past year, he's really shown that he can to some extent. I don't think he's, necessarily the best in the world at it, but he can create, he can create chances for other players. And I think that's really exciting for us, especially on a national team level.
Yeah, it's amazing just to see the growth that he's had, and just thinking Juventus's situations, right, with Artur and even Kulusevski, and just kind of the shuffling, right, in and around, and what's going to happen with this Juventus team. And Weston's really kind of made his stake, right, in the lineup there. After the beginning, right, there's the rumblings of him being sold to Tottenham and things like that. We've come so far from those stories. He's really a key pivotal part of Juventus and kind of their resurgence there, obviously in a good spot. And I think they're not too far behind kind of the Milan and Inter levels. I think he's going to be a huge part of that direction. So yeah, it's just interesting to see, who they've kind of sold or who's come in and out, and he's still been a huge focal point.
Yeah. And I think we also heard from, a quote from Juventus that he's untouchable at the end of the winter transfer window, which again, we've kind of flip-flopped back and forth. I feel like at some point in this past year, we've heard that, but then things changed a little bit, especially when Max Allegri came in, I guess. But I think he's just done such a great job coming back from adversity this year. Again, when Max came in, a lot of people thought he was going to be not playing very much, and now he's really kind of the catalyst in the team. Yeah. So,
Austin, is he the most informed USMNT player right now?
I think that's an easy yes. I think Christian Pulisic maybe, I think Christian Pulisic's great even when necessarily he's not in form. It would be interesting to kind of rate them on a purely, I don't know, like if Christian had to play not in great form or just in regular form, and Weston in super form, which I feel like he's in kind of right now. But
let's just have him go one-on-one, small pitch. No,
yeah, I think Weston would handle him pretty easily based on the physicality part of that. But I think he's definitely the most informed player right now. Definitely a player that's playing with the most confidence too, right? Like Christian Pulisic, again, kind of working through his situation at Chelsea. Tyler Adams was not on the field this past week, so I feel like that situation is kind of up in the air, especially with how their team was performing earlier. They've done a little bit better recently, but there's not many other players that come to mind that are really, playing with much confidence.
Right. That's great to have before Mexico, Austin.
Yeah. The only other player I can think of right now is the player we just talked about before, Pefok. But So I guess we should move on to Juventus's second game of the season. Of the week. And again, that was a 1-1 draw with Atalanta. So Weston in this game played 81 minutes, had 6 key passes, again really proving to be the catalyst for this team, creating chances, just getting players in good spots with his passes, and even some of his flicks off headers. yeah, he's just doing a really good job, again, in form right now. And I think the biggest, takeaway from this game, or the easiest takeaway, the biggest, most viral moment was his little skill move, right, Pat, that he had in the game.
Yeah, that was unreal, and I was able to watch at least the first half, so it was nice to see that in real time. And yeah, just that confidence to be able to do that, and just where he's come again. I know I repeat it so many times, but from the Schalke level to what we're seeing with that, he's just adding so much. And he's learning so much at this club, and just that skill, it was awesome. Like you said, I mean, his combinations with Dybala, he had a few errant passes. They kind of had a miscommunication, but then got right back on track. He's, again, bombarding up to the 6-yard box, and he's coming back, swooping in on challenges, involved with Rabiot and some of the other midfielders, combining there to get the offense going. I mean, I feel like at the beginning, they weren't really looking for him as much, and now he's the one that a lot of the back line's opening up to. He's finding those pockets of spaces in the midfield and then springboarding everything from there. So I think his teammates really do trust him at this point, just the level that he's playing at.
Yeah, and honestly, I love when Weston McKennie slaloms with the ball. I think that's the most like beautiful. If I envision Weston McKennie, that's what I envision him doing. Just those like long strides where he passes the ball while he's also taking a step is just, I don't know. I love that. I love when he does it for the national team when he plays. I love it when he does it for Juventus. Yeah, it's fun to watch. So, yeah, another good game for Weston. I would say overall a good draw too for Juve. They now sit in 4th in Serie A, 7 points back from 3rd. So a little bit of a gap there. 4th is a Champions League spot though. So, they're back in that, that realm. They're back in Champions League position. Atalanta are in 5th and have a game in hand and are 2 points behind them. So, again, if they play that game and get a win, then they'll be pushed back to 5th. But overall, I think, again, Atalanta's a good team, right? They're a team that really has taken, some steps over the past few years and are not an easy team to go against. So I think getting a draw against them, especially in the way they did it, right? They came back and scored in the final few minutes of extra time. Really lucky to get a point from this game. I think overall it was a good result. And Juve can kind of fight again, later in the season. So, yeah, overall a good week from Weston. Again, that's why I wore the Juventus jersey tonight. Most informed player, and most fun to watch. So, yeah, who do we have next, Pat?
Yeah, again, another player that's you could say kind of getting informed here. Brenden Aaronson with a solid goal, much needed, right? So just to kind of recap him, right? They had a 2-1 win. Salzburg did over Rapid Vienna, and Aaronson actually equalized with his goal in a near post finish. So it was great to see him get involved there. Just, again, calm and collective, right in the near post, passionate celebration with his teammates, and just coming at a good time because they have a huge game as we're filming this Tuesday, tomorrow against Bayern Munich in the round of 16 for the Champions League. So obviously this will be good momentum for them. It's going to be a huge task and challenge, but just happy for Aaronson, in a nutshell. He is a player that, again, you see the distance he covers, his aptitude, his understanding of the game. It's all there, but sometimes he kind of puts in the effort that it almost gets lost, right, in the build-up of the combo play. You want to see a little bit more in the final third, to take that next step. He's a good player, but to kind of get to that next level, just a little bit more involvement and being a little bit more impactful in the final third. And obviously a goal to show is definitely impressive. So by all means, I'm not saying he has to be a 15-plus goal scorer, but a little bit more in the assists, the chances created there. I think he's really, on the path to taking that next step.
Yeah, and I think this week provides him a really great opportunity, right? Going up against a team like Bayern Munich. We think he's going to start in this game, right? Or at least get good playing time.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think he's taken the proper steps. I feel like this year, we haven't talked about him as much, but I think it's, again, a byproduct of him just performing up to the level that, we know of and expect of him now, right? It's not a surprise to see him, running around the field, pressing and, really taking on players in games. Maybe he hasn't gotten the goals or assists we wanted from him, but I think overall he's been in pretty good form over the whole year. And again, it's just kind of a key player in what Salzburg do, right? There was that stat where he's run the most, was it miles, right? The longest distance.
Covered, yeah.
most distance covered in the group stage matches. So I think that's a really impressive feat, especially thinking about the players that have played in Champions League this year that, do that to some extent. To be the best at that statistical category is pretty good. So yeah, and I really think, again, looking at the lens of this week, right? We're going to know the result probably before this comes out, but just getting exposure playing against some of these big teams can really help you in the transfer market, right? Like if some Bundesliga teams are watching how Salzburg play and he catches their eye, then maybe instead of going to a team like Leeds, where maybe, they're not the most productive team right now, it seems like they've got some things to figure out over the summer in terms of like management and kind of what direction they want to go. With Marco Bielsa, maybe that's not a great situation. Maybe a team in the Bundesliga would provide a better opportunity. That's me as a Bundesliga homer.
Yeah, Bundesliga there, but no, I agree. I am a little bit worried just in terms of Leeds and even some of those other teams in the Premier League, in a great league, but almost it does kind of fit in terms of the aggression, right? To be able to sprint around the field chaotically, almost kind of like a Burnley type of environment, but I don't know if that's conducive to him in his trajectory where we want to see him. I think the Bundesliga is an interesting route, and maybe also to a testament in terms of the level of play in the Austrian league. He's definitely above that, right? Obviously, the Champions League is great experience to get, but I think to make that next step too, to have a little bit more. Obviously, the team's great in the training, Adeyemi and some of the other Okafor and the other talent that they have, but I think it's important for him to kind of take that next step, whether it be Bundesliga or kind of team that next level essentially. Maybe it is a Leipzig, who knows? But throwing a bunch of things out there, I think Aaronson does have what it takes to make it any other league and any other team. It's just a matter of fact, is he going to be like a 8-goal, 7-8 assist kind of player, or somebody that kind of comes in 20-30 minutes off the bench and just kind of provides kind of that spark.
Super sub.
Yeah,
it's a harsh take.
I know it's kind of a harsh take, but I almost kind of see it what he does with the US a little bit too.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I think the other thing to take into account, right, with all these other players that we've talked about too, is the timing of the World Cup. Does it make sense for him to move this summer to a team that maybe he's taking a chance and trying to make a step that maybe doesn't get playing time right away in the fall, or the level of playing time that we want to see from him, especially leading up to the World Cup? Does that influence his decision at all? Does he stay at Salzburg until the winter of next year? I don't know. I think that question's going to come up a lot more as we go through this season. But all in all, I think I like where he's at right now. So, yeah. So I think with that, we're going to move on to our final player for today, and that will be Christian Pulisic. So, Mr. First, right? The player who's done it all and has really led the wave of this, what we'd like to call maybe a golden generation. Maybe it's, just the start of something different for our, our American soccer contingent. But again, made another first this weekend, was the first player to sub on and actually play in the FIFA Club World Cup final, and was actually, the first player to win it from America. So
he's racking up, what does Panetta say? Racking up the trophies in the trophy chain, Austin. He's racking them up.
That's right. Yeah, taking a line from our intro. Yeah, exactly. So he subbed on for Mason Mount, who went off injured, I believe in the 32nd minute. Obviously, this game went into extra time, so it went 120 minutes. So he ended up playing 89 of those minutes. And again, Chelsea scored right at the end, right off that Kai Havertz penalty, which was, kind of controversial, right? But at the end of the day, Chelsea were able to defeat Palmeiras and win the Club World Cup. So great for them. Again, another accolade for Pulisic. In this game, he had one key pass, 4 shots, was able to see some of the highlights, wasn't able to really watch this full game. And he looked okay, right? He had a few moments where that, just that dynamism, right? That dynamic ability has kind of shined through. But at the end of the day, didn't really make as much of an impact as I think we would all love to see from him. He was the most fouled player in the game. So again,
surprise, right?
Yeah, that stat persists with 4 fouls. But yeah, I think overall, no matter how well he played or how well he didn't play in this game, again, just setting another record, being another name on that record list, right, in that record book for American soccer, again, is I just think such an important part of our rise as a country, right? We don't want to be just a golden generation, right? Like I said earlier, we want to be more than that. We want to be consistently having players achieve these feats. So for Christian Pulisic to be the first to do it, I think is really a really cool thing. And again, it just helps us in kind of, taking another step forward.
Yeah. I don't even know how to follow that up. That was very well said. I feel like giving you a round of applause, Austin. That was beautiful.
Well, thank you.
No, I mean,
I stumbled over my words a little bit, but we got there.
Even in form or not, right? Christian just piling up trophies, and that's just great for confidence, right? Kind of slowly building that back. We know the talent he has, the injury he's been through, the type of player, right? He's that one that kind of has those bursts or kind of the those next gears, right? So there's a lot of factors in play, and he'll get it back. We know what he's about, his mentality, the skill and the talent he has, and the team he's a part of, right? You think, we were talking off camera, and it just kind of stuck in my mind that a lot of folks are kind of worried, right? Oh, Pulisic subbed on there, got a goal. It's great for him with the national team, and maybe he's not getting as much playing time. Does he leave? This and that. But with Tuchel, right? Just with the caliber and the talent that they have, like, look at everybody else next to him. Maybe that's not starting, or again shuffling in and out of the lineup. The trophies that they've won. Again, obviously, Man City is just destroying everybody in the Premier League. It seems like they can't stop, but you're in one of the best leagues in the world. You could argue, right, the top 4 or 5 Premier League teams are some of the top 4 or 5 in the world, with like a few other teams kind of sprinkled in other leagues. But look at the caliber of players he's with. I mean, that is pushing him to the limit. And again, I'm not too concerned, right? If he's not starting 90% right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's something to be worried about long term. And I feel like we always have this conversation about him, right? Like, he'll get in these moments where he's not necessarily in the first team. Well, I shouldn't say first team. He's not in the starting 11 picture, especially in his time at Chelsea. But, he's shown us in the past that he can rise out of that run of form, I guess, or just kind of thrust himself back in whatever manager's in charge's mind. And honestly, again, with him coming on for an injured Mason Mount, again, you don't wish injury on anyone, but Mason Mount, it sounds like, will be out for a few games. So that'll open up another spot for him to hopefully get more minutes with Chelsea here over the coming weeks. So yeah, I think keeping the objective in mind, right, for this year, he won Champions League last year. That was fantastic. If Chelsea were close to winning Premier League this year, then maybe it would have been like,
we want him to be. Season, you could have argued they fell off, but the first time they were right up there.
For sure. And there was a period of time where I thought that was going to be the case, but right now I don't think that's the case. So I don't know. It feels maybe disingenuous to say this, but since that's it sounds like Chelsea are going to finish top 4, right? They're going to have a pretty strong end to the year. Maybe they'll do something in Champions League, right? Like, they're still in Champions League. Yeah, so maybe it's not a foregone conclusion. Nothing's going to work out there. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is I just want to keep Christian healthy for the World Cup, right? I want him to be playing and playing well. But at the end of the day, if he's getting, minutes off the bench, right? And maybe this is a selfish thing to say from my perspective, but I don't think it's the worst thing for
kind of like a team away situation, right? You want him healthy. He's obviously this Chelsea, right? But like getting some impactful starts here or there, some minutes off the bench, but please stay healthy for us, selfishly.
Yeah, it does feel selfish, but I don't know. That's just another way to view it, I guess, to view the situation. So yeah, all in all, again, a pretty good week, I'd say, from Americans abroad. Obviously, some players, out with injury. Some players, again, kind of trying to find that form. But overall, I think we had some good storylines from the week, and we're happy to cover it this week. So, now it's time to move over to Quick Kicks. All right, guys. So we're here with Quick Kicks. And, I guess, Pat, do you want to start us off?
let's start it off. And sorry, Christian, we got to slide you over there and put Serginho Dest here to start off quick kicks. So Dest did start 90, obviously with Alves' red card, right, in a 2-2 draw versus Espanyol. Unfortunate result for Barca. He wasn't able to take that much advantage, so hopefully he can turn things around the next game.
Yeah, and going over to Germany, we have Ricardo Pepi. So Ricardo subbed on and played the final 27 minutes for Augsburg in their 3-2 loss. We're actually able to get a goal back right in the final minutes, but unfortunately just didn't have enough time to pull back level with Gladbach. So, yeah, all in all, another performance for Pepi, more minutes for him.
That's fair. And Anthony Robinson, and I can't really leave out Tim Ream also, part of this, but a huge 1-0 win over Hull
Hey,
City.
he's not a young American.
I know. But, he was part of the team, right? And they remain 6 points clear atop the championship table, coasting towards that promotion to the Premier League.
Yeah, and Anthony's had a great season there. So excited to see them doing good things and hopefully see him back in the Premier League soon. Now we want to head over to, stay in England and talk about Josh Sargent, who started and played 87 minutes for Norwich City in their 4-0 loss to Man City. So speaking of teams going up, sounds like Norwich City is going to be a team going down, and we'll see where that kind of lands, Josh.
Yeah, interesting to see. My boy Timo here with Lille. So he came on, played the final 11 minutes against Joaquini's Montpellier in a 1-0 win for Lille.
Nice. And going over to Scotland, we were able to see James Sands play this weekend, and he started and played 90 minutes for Rangers in their 3-0 Scottish Cup win. So good to see him on the pitch with his new team.
There we go. Nice. And Yunus Musa, Austin. So he, again, with another start for Valencia away at Deportivo Alaves, Miazga's team. They had a tough outing, a 2-1 loss, and unfortunately he did have a foul that caused a penalty. So that's a little bit disappointing.
Nice. And going over to the Netherlands, we have Cole Bassett, who actually made his debut for Feyenoord's youth team there over the weekend, scored a goal for their U21s, and that was in their 2-1 win. So good to see him getting his debut, I would say, over in the Netherlands. Also made the bench for their full team. So, yeah, getting up to speed.
Getting there, building blocks. And Reggie Cannon for Boa Vista there. So started, obviously, and played in a 1-1 draw on the road and played the full 90. So in that back three, which is different, but nonetheless, game time.
Yeah, and going over to Italy, we have two of our players, Gianluca Busio and Tanner Tessman. So for Venezia, Busio started and played 55 minutes. Tessman then came on to replace him and played the final 35 in their 2-1 win. So this was a win over Torino, I believe. So again, a decent opponent. Yeah, they were kind of hanging around the relegation zone. Were able to get that win and 3 points. So, yeah, good for them.
Absolutely. And George Bello here, Austin. So he came on for the final 28 minutes in a loss there to Hoffenheim, 2-0. But both goals were scored before he came on, so it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, and we have Alan Senora. So another player to keep your eye on this upcoming spring, a player that could be making a move maybe this summer. And he started and played 58 minutes for Independiente in their 1-0 win in Argentina. So good to keep an eye on him.
Oh, yeah. And Luca Della Torre. Love saying that name. Huge game here. 1-0 win over Utrecht.
Huge.
Where he was one of the team's best midfielders, honestly. 34, 38 passing and aggression. Really important to put them much more higher up, kind of more mid-table. So staying out of that relegation zone.
Yeah, and speaking of the exact opposite, a player we're completely out on, never call him up. Things are going so well. Now I have to pivot 180 degrees. And that's Eric Palmer-Brown, who started and played 90 minutes for Troy in their 5-1 loss to Brest. No, in all seriousness, obviously not a great game for him, but he'll be back stronger, obviously getting more game time. Finally made that finalized move to Troy. So we still are rooting for you, Eric. Don't think we're not off the bandwagon.
We're with you. And Alex Mendez, Austin. So Alex, the start for Vizela there in a 1-0 loss, at home. And he was replaced at the hour mark.
Gotcha. And going over to England, we have Valerian Balogun, who started, played 89 minutes, and also picked up an assist for Middlesbrough, his second on the season in their 4-1 win over Derby County. So finally, right, on loan away from Arsenal, getting professional minutes, and already has 2 assists in, I believe, 5 games. So
music to my ears. Getting some professional minutes. I love it.
Another striker to watch, right? Another one to call up. So
that's right. And we're going with BBB here. Brian Reynolds. Nice seeing him getting game time. Start for Kortrijk there, and they played fairly well, but his team did drop some points in a 2-1 loss to Beerschot there in last place. So tough result, but great to see him get some minutes.
Nice. And going over to a player again in Scotland who's doing really well, and that's Cameron Carter-Vickers, who started and played 74 minutes in Celtic's 4-0 win in the Scottish Cup this weekend.
And lastly, back to Belgium, and Mark McKenzie getting some great game time there. And started for a game, played the full 90 and a 2-0 win over Standard Liège. So great result there, and awesome to see Mark get consistent minutes again.
Nice. So that's all for our show today, guys. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel down below.
And don't forget, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, the social media platforms, back interacting with the fans, putting out some great content and reels. Keep your eyes peeled.
That's right. We also have our merch store, so check out the link in the bio. Got some cool, merchandise up there for you to purchase and check out. So, yeah, I think with that being said, Pat, again, good weekend. Looking forward to Champions League this week and next week. And, hopefully we got a lot to talk about next Monday.
That's right. I'm putting all my money on Salzburg tomorrow. No.
Yeah, right.
But no, a lot to talk about, and just kind of gearing up for March. We're excited, but not a bad February here for our players abroad.
Yeah, honestly, and then all leads up to March, right? And that big last window for us. I feel like going in, coming away, I should say, from the last window, I felt so confident that we were going to make it to the World Cup. I don't know, just finishing on a high, beating Honduras and frigid conditions, but looking ahead at the games we got coming up, kind of the situation we're in right now, getting a little worried, but we got to believe, right? We got to
believe in the plan, trust the process. Austin, knock on some wood here, hold your breath. But no, I think we can do it. Like you said, it's not just that golden generation. It's for many more to come because one day we'll get there, right?
That's right. Christian Pulisic's got to win 2 World Cups this year. Just has to.
That's true.
Because one day we will win that World Cup.